Matthias. Good to see you, and I'm so happy to be here. I'm very excited to get the invitation. I think you're all working on such an important topic. I'm here today speaking with the voice of Oulu University Hospital. So we were a hospital that won the Green Hospital Award in IHF Awards last year. And I hope that my speech will give you some ideas and provoke some conversation of how you can utilize our solutions.
No.
So, this is me. I'm project manager in the field of logistics in OST 2030 program. I started there 6 years ago, and my earlier background is in Nokia. I did a 6 months exchange period in UBC Barcelona, so I have a small touch to the Iberian Peninsula before. It was a very lovely time, one of the best times of my life. I will tell you a little bit of the background, where I come from, and then I will move on to the energy solutions that we have implemented in Oulu. I like to understand it so that what energy we input to the hospital, how we optimize the usage of energy, and what energy flows out of the hospital. And in the end, I will discuss a little bit about the enablers that I think have influenced our journey. So Oulu University Hospital is one of the 5 university hospitals in Finland, and there are 21 well-being service counties responsible for organizing the hospital services. And the university hospitals are the ones that provide the highly specialized medical care. The collaborative area of Oulu University Hospital is roughly 50% of Finland's area, and there is around 750,000 inhabitants in this whole area. So as you can imagine, the population density is very small. We only have 4 people per square meter, and most of the area is just full of forest from your point of view. To get some sort of a scale, I put the Iberian Peninsula on top of our area, and Oulu University Hospital's collaborative area is roughly the size of Portugal. So OST 2030 program is the program that I'm working for, and its job is to rebuild the Oulu University Hospital. It will be completely renovated and rebuilt by 2030. It's not only a construction program, we also want to take a deep dive into the processes that we use in the hospital, and we want to make the hospital as good of a workplace for the staff and a good hospital for the future patients. Normally I would tell you 3 hours of this, but I will try to keep it short today and just show you a couple of pictures. This is Oulu University Hospital in 2018. Some could say that it's the tallest building in the world, but it's just fallen down. It's very flat, it's covered in a very large area of space. And by 2030, this is the picture where we are heading towards. So there will be a couple of buildings that are much taller than the buildings that we have today. And currently, the buildings A and B are completely finished in terms of construction. And these are the buildings that we won the Green Hospital Award last year. The buildings A and B cover the services, what we called are like 24/7 services. So we have the emergency department, ICU, operating theaters, and wards in buildings A and B. Besides, we have built radiotherapy unit, and building F is under construction, which will be our cancer center. And the last building that we are building is the building C, which will contain the outpatient units of our hospital. So I come from Finland. It's a very cold place to live. We have roughly 200 days of winter. during the year, and there is a period of time when the sun does not come up at all in the very northern Finland, which lasts for around 2 weeks. And it's important to take into account that what is the environment that you're working with. So for instance, in our case, it doesn't make sense for us to build a lot of solar panels because most of the time it's not sunny, and even when it is, there might be 50 centimeters of snow on top of it. So we don't get a lot of power from solar. But in the summertime, it can get quite hot as well. It's not untypical to have plus 30 to plus 35 degrees of warmth in the summer. And one thing that the cold air makes us think is that we have to put a lot of effort into isolating the buildings. The isolation is good for, or the insulation is good for not only the cold weather, but it also keeps the heat out in the summertime. Then if you take a little bit of a helicopter view and look at the network around you, we have the power station where the energy flows into the hospital. Then we have the hospital energy optimization systems. For example, we have the energy recycling in our hospital that I will tell a little bit about later on. And then we have the energy flowing out of the hospital. And the green transition is happening right now, so we're not fighting this battle on our own. So if we just replace this network with the stakeholders that we are working with, on the left we have the power station. We have Oulun Energia, a local energy company, and they have set a target to be carbon neutral by 2030 at the latest. And just looking at last year's number, they reduced 18% of greenhouse gas emissions in just 2023, and they increased the portion of renewable energy sources from 70% to 74%. In the middle, we have the Oulu University Hospital that claims to be the smartest hospital in the world, and this comes with a claim that we cannot put a lot of greenhouse gases out in the air. And on the right, we have the local recycling center, who is Kiertokaari, and they claim that they want to maximize the recycling of materials. And one could say that they are doing a pretty good job, because just in 2023, they recycled 28% of the waste into reusable materials, and the rest of the waste is already used in the energy production. So the recycling center is not only a recycling center, it's actually also a power station that can provide energy for the local needs. The main two components of our energy usage is district heating and electricity. Electricity is something that we all know very well what it is, but district heating is something that is most commonly used in the northern part of Europe. In the district heating system, we heat up water in the power station, and the heating can be done in multiple ways. For example, we can use the excess heat from industry to heat up the water. It is heated up to 120 degrees in Celsius, and it's pressurized and put into insulated pipes that run underground. And from that pipe system, there is a heat exchanger in the hospital's facility, and we utilize the hot water that comes through the pipes. And once we have cycled the water inside the hospital, finally the cold water cycles back to the power stations where it will be reheated. Then if we jump inside the hospital, we have created an energy recycling system, and in the middle there is the heat pump, which is responsible for the space cooling. So whenever a room is too hot, the heat pump pumps the heat out of it, and we can use this heat. Typically this heat is pumped outside of the building, But in our case, we wanted to utilize this heat, so we can use it for ventilation heating, for the air that flows into the hospital. If that's not needed, we can use it for space heating. If there's another space in the hospital needs heating, we will use it for that. And the third use case is the domestic hot water. So the water that you utilize in the building for shower, for washing your hands, etc. And these are the main three components of heating. And we also use the district heating for these purposes. So we always first check with the heat pump. We always use the heat that is already inside the building before we purchase any extra heating from district heating system. Finally, the heat is going through the dry cooler, which further separates the warm and cold air. And we can utilize that device to create a very chilly liquid for the water chiller that takes care of the ventilation cooling. Besides, we utilize electricity for buildings' other needs. Well, how effective is this then? In buildings A and B, we have reached a primary energy consumption around 250 kilowatt hours per square meter, which are roughly 23% below regulation values that are required in the building permit. And in Finland, the regulations are already quite strict. And besides that, we have reached a calculated decrease of 35% in operational energy demand. So these are numbers that we are very proud of in our program. Next up, I will share a few points from process improvement cases. The first one is the bio-waste one. This I'm very proud of myself because I was the project manager on this program. So basically what we did was we created a value stream mapping development project for the bio-waste that comes with the patient food. And we made changes to the order logic. Wards were ordering extra food because the lead time of our current process is so long that they were afraid that there will be a patient coming from emergency department to the ward. So they were preparing for that and ordering extra foods. So we basically stopped ordering those because we realized that typically a patient has already left more often than a new patient has come from the ED. And besides, we enabled the leftover food to be sold not only to the staff but also the visitors in both the canteen and in the wards using a QR code payment. And just these two simple solutions reduced 50 tons of bio-waste inside the hospital in 9 months. And currently we are applying these same processes to other facilities in our well-being area. Another case that I wanted to highlight is the process changes that we made in pharmaceuticals. So basically pharmaceuticals are the largest contributors to the CO2 emissions based on a government study that Finland's government made in 2023. The following graph is in Finnish, but you can get the point. So that is representing the carbon footprint of different segments of the hospital. And the one that stands out is the bar for pharmaceutical products. So what we did is we completely renewed the procurement process for pharmaceuticals, and we made binding requirements for the packaging and waste management of pharmaceuticals. And besides that, we terminated the use of desflurane, which is 2,500 more warming than the CO2 is. And we made several other ecological replacements, especially for hormonal and microbial products. Last off, the waste. Just have a second to think of how much of the waste that we produced in our construction phase was recycled. You can raise your hand. How many of you think that we got up to 80%? No one? 70? 60? 50? 40? 30? 20? You guys are not believers, are you? We recycled 98% of all waste during the construction phase. So this was set as a key target for the Alliance, and I think that is a target that we can all think that what would this mean if we try to reduce this waste of mixed waste in just our homes alone. Besides, we have made some changes to the recycling in the hospitals. So first of all, we started the recycling of plastic in 2021. It needed a new expansion for the waste management facilities so that we could fit in the new container. And then we started the recycling of glass this year. It actually has been quite a problem to find a partner that would allow us to bring glass from hospitals, because many of the vendors have been afraid that there will be leftover pharmaceutical products in the hospital's glass. But now it's looking promising that we will find a new partner this year. Finally, although we want to reduce the bio-waste to minimum, but we can never get it to zero in a hospital environment. So once the bio-waste leaves our hospital, it goes to the recycling center, where it's reformed into biogas, and then it's actually brought back into the hospital, and we will use it for the centralized sterilization department, for the heating, for the creation of steam. Finally, I would want to spend some minutes on talking about the enablers. I think that one of the reasons that we did so well was because we set very ambitious goals. If you bring in designers and you tell them that, okay, your job is to build the world's smartest hospital, it gives you a mindset that you have to set your design goals quite high as well. Besides that, we made very specific and large amount of targets for the program. The waste example is just one of them. And we made guidelines for the designers. So every procurement process went through 16 different viewpoints, for example, that have we taken these into account when we are making a procurement. Another one is the alliance model. It's the contract model that we used in our construction program, and it basically allows us to steer our design during the construction phase. Typically, you make drawings and you give them to the contractor, and then you're stuck with the plans that you made in the beginning. But in alliance model, you form an alliance between different companies, and you govern the process along the way. So we were able to make changes whenever we got good ideas from the designers that we would want to implement this and this. Then we will still make the decision that, all right, it will cost us this amount of money, and it will have this amount of effect in the project. So we could go through all the material that the designers gave us along the way. Another important part is the green transition and the common goal in the larger network. So we are not fighting this battle alone. All the companies that we are working with are dealing with the same problems, so it drives us forward. And the last thing is that I would like to thank the mentality of Finns. One of the things that we got a lot of comments about was the management of plastic in before. So when we didn't cycle plastic, we got hundreds of people writing us letters that I'm recycling plastic at our home, and we are producing such a small amount of plastic at home compared to a hospital. That why on earth is this not implemented in the hospital? And just one example of our staff is that 40% of our staff cycle to work. And if you remember from the first slides, 200 days in the year, it's winter time and there's gonna be snow. But during winter, the streets are plowed away of snow, first for the cycling routes, so that everyone can get to work by bicycle. I wanted to use the same phrase as I have used it in the past 6 years of presentations, yhteispelillä, because I thought it suits the it suits the purpose. It basically means we can do it together. So thank you so much for your time. Obrigado and gracias.